It's been almost 18 months since the Usindiso building fire in Johannesburg. Now, 76 people were killed, several were injured, and hundreds of families were displaced. A court case against the self-confessed arsonist is ongoing, but many of the survivors are still looking for answers. Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho is in the city center and joins us now live. Katleho, good morning. So many months on, what do we know?
Good morning, Ms. Chaba. It was on the 31st of August 2023 when this building, Usindiso building, was engulfed in fire. It's considered to be one of the deadliest fires that South Africa has seen, and the loss of life, 76 people killed and 88 people at the time injured, and so many people left in a dire situation after that fire. And just to show you what the building looks like now, I mean, you can still see the building charred with soot from that fire. If one recalls how the building was structured, this area here in the front was actually open. It was an entryway, and now it's been cordoned off. It remains cordoned off, and no one can actually occupy the building still at this point. And, a lot of questions around the survivors and how they've been living since then. Some sent to temporary shelters immediately after the fire, and now people actually living in close proximity to this building and still having to deal with poverty and not really receiving the kind of help that they've needed since then. But certainly this building remaining cordoned off and that no one can live here now. But I do have with me human rights activist Andrew to give us more details. Andrew, thank you for your time. 18 months on, what do we know since this fire?
Yeah, over 500 days, and still people haven't got places. I think President Ramaphosa arrived on the first day, and one of the first commitments was we have 3 buildings in the city of Joburg. The question remains, where are those 3 buildings after more than 500 days? People are still living. In fact, yesterday I was told of a story of a lady who was still living under a bridge, and was raped by 4 men. This is the devastation that people have faced. I have come to understand what it means to lose everything through engaging with these people. When I talk about everything, I talk about documentation. I can't imagine how people go on in life without having an ID document. You can't go to the hospital. You can't get your kids into schools. It's everything means everything. And unless you're in that situation and you feel that empathy, you'll understand it. People are based in Denver, and just last week we had downpours. The whole place was flooded again. People lost all their groceries, lost all their mattresses, and this is the problem. This is the problem.
Mm-hmm. Now, Andrew, I mean, there were some kinds of promises made by government. We saw a fire at a building in Joburg CBD just last year where there was an assurance to deal with hijacked buildings. Do you see some of that effort being made to deal with hijacked buildings?
I can speak from the Commission of Inquiry's perspective. The Kempepe Commission of Inquiry, I mean, I have huge respect for former Constitutional Court Judge Sisi Kempepe. Excellent job. Even visiting more than 200 buildings in the city. The thing is, what is the city doing about it? Are they waiting for reports when we clearly know there's a building like Usindiso that needs to be renovated? What the mayor is saying, I want 3 billion rand to bring down this building and build an administration block. It shows that he hasn't got a sense of understanding that people need adequate housing. It's a constitutional right called adequate housing. The buildings that keep on burning down, these are not hijacked buildings. They are buildings owned by people that are abandoned. In this case, it's a building that's owned by the city of Joburg. It is supposed to be managed by the Johannesburg Property Company. The lady who's responsible for it, Helen Burtis, has just been pushed into another position, which is the acting COO of the company. So we're asking ourselves, do people that can't run simple companies get now promoted? What does that tell individuals who are trying to actually, make a living here?
Andrew, thank you so much. We'll leave it there for now. Mas Chaba, certainly an emotive story relating to housing and the housing crisis in the Joburg CBD, and Andrew there outlining that since then really not clear answers as to how they can deal with the housing backlog in the city, and also that so many of those who lived in Usindiso left destitute up till now, and so lots of answers still outstanding, and what happens now.